A 22-year-old former staff member at Sun Valley Academy in Avondale is accused of sexually assaulting an 8th grade student and sending him photos of a positive pregnancy test.
Thanks for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Kariba Devine. Yesenia Rodriguez remains in custody, but many of the parents that we spoke with say that they had no idea that this was happening.
12 News journalist Tiani Jadalang is in Avondale. She talked to parents tonight and has details.
According to court documents, the encounters date back to March of this year. Rodriguez and the 15-year-old victim met during recess. That's when the suspect asked for the victim's phone number. This is where court records say 22-year-old Tulsa resident Yesenia Rodriguez once worked. Those same records say Rodriguez was an aide whose responsibility was to supervise students during recess. But it's at that same location where the former aide and the 15-year-old victim first met. Rodriguez had her initial court hearing Thursday.
Yesenia Rodriguez, August 13, 2003.
She remains in custody, something some parents at the school say they had no knowledge about.
I think it's insane that it hasn't been brought to light. I mean, I understand the privacy, but we need to know if there's an issue.
According to an investigation by the Avondale Police Department, after the 22-year-old asked for the victim's phone number, the two began texting and eventually FaceTiming. During those calls, the victim describes moments when Rodriguez, who the victim called Nia, pulled up her shirt to expose her breasts, then pulled down her pants to show her buttocks. The student also described having sex with Rodriguez on 3 separate occasions. 2 of those times, the assault occurred at the victim's home. After the very first time Rodriguez and the victim were intimate, documents say the victim received text messages from Rodriguez which contained 3 positive pregnancy tests. Rodriguez and the victim discussed getting an abortion, but on April 1st, police observed a call between the victim and Rodriguez. And during that call, she denied having any sexual contact with the victim and stated she felt like she was being set up. Detectives searched the victim's cell phone and recovered 45 images that were tagged as evidence. On April 16th, a search warrant was served at the suspect's residence and Rodriguez was placed under arrest. A representative for the Sun Valley Academy told 12 News parents have since been informed, but those we spoke to still have their concerns.
Hopefully, everything from here on out, they take precautions to make sure something like this doesn't happen anymore.
Rodriguez is eligible for release. That's through a cash-only appearance bond of $100,000. I also spoke with Rodriguez's family off camera. They tell me they're in shock and still trying to process what has happened. As for Rodriguez, her next court date is set for April 22nd. In Avondale, I'm Tiani Jadalang, 12 News.
All right, Tiani, thank you. Well, this afternoon, thousands of supporters turned out to watch President Trump deliver a speech at a Turning Point USA event. He opened by remembering Charlie Kirk, the founder of the organization. Trump then discussed his record on border security, the economy, and the war in Iran, announcing that the Strait of Hormuz is back open, all of it focusing largely on supporting Republicans heading into the midterm elections.
If you want a rich and strong and a country that you're going to be proud of, America, you must go out in the midterms and vote Republican. We need that.
President Trump gave shout-outs to several Republicans on the ballot, including Andy Biggs in his run for governor, a candidate that he has frequently shown support for.
Meanwhile, outside Dream City Church, dozens of protesters gathered to voice their opposition to the current administration.
I don't really agree with most of the left-wingers out here on pretty much anything, but I do think that Trump's out of control. I think he's spiraling big time, and I'm particularly upset that he started a new war in the Middle East. So I decided to come out here and make my grievances heard and get the opinion of other people.
Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Back in 2016, I did.
As tempers flared, 12 News saw some verbal and even physical altercations break out, but overall, the protest remained peaceful. The community of Seligman, about 75 miles west of Flagstaff, is still without power tonight. APS reports that close to 800 people have been in the dark for almost 48 hours. The power went out after a fiery semi-crash struck multiple power lines yesterday morning on eastbound I-40. APS says crews have been working along the highway to repair the damaged power structures and restore electricity. Power is estimated to return around midnight tonight.
A 7-year-old girl who was reported missing in Camp Verde has been found safe. Officials say that she was last seen on Tuesday near Aspen Way and Highway 260. It's believed that she was with her non-custodial father. The Camp Verde Marshal's office says that she was located last night and is now in the custody of the Department of Child Safety.
Well, tonight was one of those nights where if you could eat dinner outside, it was just the perfect temperature.
It was, yes. Couldn't ask for more. We're going to have more nights like this, even though we're looking at highs in the 90s this weekend. The evenings are still going to be in the 80s and pretty much perfect for dinner out on the patio. It's still 76, so it's still very comfortable, even at 10:06 in the evening. Cooler up north, 47 in Winslow, also 47 degrees in Page. Here's what we can expect this weekend. Our morning lows will be in the low to mid 60s and our daytime highs in the low to mid 90s, which is above average, but we're not setting any records. Tomorrow, full sunshine, barely a cloud in the sky, and then we will add some clouds on Sunday, but we're also going to be a little bit warmer on Sunday. I know some folks are definitely going to hit the pool this weekend. It's going to take till the mid-afternoon for us to break 90 degrees. So through 2 p.m., we're in the 80s, and then by 3 p.m. tomorrow, we reach 90 degrees. Average right now is 86, so we're a few degrees above that. It's also going to be a gorgeous weekend up in the high country. Saturday featuring more sunshine. Check out Sedona, 74 degrees tomorrow. Payson also at 74. That's a perfect Saturday. And then for Sunday, we're going to add some clouds, but it's also going to be a warmer day. Dry all this weekend. Caribe?
All right, Lindsay, thank you. Some new video shows the moments that an armed off-duty Phoenix police officer said that he wanted kids at an ICE protest to assault him so that they could go to jail.
Tonight, the Maricopa County Attorney's Office released body cam footage of the exchange between the off-duty officer, Dustin Mullen, and an officer working the protest. Take a listen.
My plan is legitimately to just let them all assault me and you guys arrest them all, and I will keep it on film. I also have other people filming from distance. So my goal would be to get all these kids in jail if they want to break the law.
The altercation led to the arrest of a teen girl. Mullen now on administrative leave pending an investigation.
Tonight, the ASU Sun Devil community continues to mourn the death of coach and former football player Stephen Miller, who passed away yesterday at 29 years old.
12 News journalist Chase Golightly talked to players and members of the athletic department at ASU Fan Fest.
It's a time where friends, family, and of course fans storm the field here at Mountain America Stadium for ASU's Fan Fest to meet Sun Devil players and coaches. At the same time, the passing of Coach Miller still weighs heavy on so many here.
It's an experience Sun Devil fans will never forget.
It feels awesome. The energy in here is amazing.
This is just a really good experience, and we love ASU.
Hundreds taking to the field, led by Arizona legend Jake the Snake Plummer for Fan Fest.
It's cool being on the field.
Feels really good. I just want to be one of them.
Kids were able to do some tackling, learned a few moves from cheerleaders, and even play catch with some of their favorite ASU football players.
What's your favorite part being out here?
Probably being with the players and being with my family and spending time.
It's an event that happens every year, but this one comes the day after longtime Sun Devil Stephen Miller passed away. Miller, a Gilbert native, was an assistant strength coach for the football team for the past 3 seasons. Before that, he was on the field himself, an offensive lineman for the Sun Devils from 2016 to 2019. His passing felt throughout the entire ASU community.
It was hard here. I mean, that was my guy. That was a lot of our guys. We loved him.
Defensive lineman C.J. Fite, remembering the tremendous impact Miller had on their organization for the past 10 years.
No news everyone wants to hear, especially how much he meant to this program.
ASU Athletic Director Graham Rossini also discussing his passing.
There's not much that we'll deal with that's more difficult than losing a teammate, losing somebody that our fans have cheered on, losing somebody that interacted with our players and our football program every single day.
Leaning on each other for support, knowing this upcoming season will be missing a key part.
Just being around the guys and making sure everybody knows they're not alone and together.
At this time, Miller's cause of death is not publicly known. Everyone we spoke with says that their thoughts and prayers are with his family. We're in Tempe. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, thank you. A former teacher and coach at Peoria High School will spend the next 3.5 years in prison after pleading guilty to 3 counts of attempted sexual exploitation of a minor. 12 News journalist William Pitt shares reaction to the sentencing.
Not all of the victims or their family members were happy about how this turned out. Some of them calling it offensive that he was only given 3.5 years in prison, but all of them talked about the abuse of trust.
I'm writing this statement on behalf of my son and our family to describe the profound impact this crime has had on his life and ours. What happened to my son changed him in ways no child should ever have to endure. He was manipulated and taken advantage of by someone he trusted, his basketball coach.
Prosecutors read letters from some of the victims' families.
What you have done has caused damage far beyond what can be seen on the surface. The pain, the loss of self-esteem, the feeling of being devalued, and the disruption to my son's mindset have been overwhelming.
Batillo, known to Suns fans as Mr. Orange, pled guilty to 3 counts of attempted sexual exploitation of a minor. He was a teacher and basketball coach at Peoria High School. While there, and while becoming famous as an NBA superfan, prosecutors say he offered to pay students, some of them his own players, for sexually explicit videos and pictures.
As a parent and a victim speaking on behalf of my child and the other victims, we are asking for a sentence that truly acknowledges the seriousness of this crime.
The victims and their families gave statements in court, not wanting to appear on camera. Some of the victims are still underage. Outside the courthouse, the mother of one of the victims said she wanted Batillo to get more time, but not at her son's expense.
We avoided a trial and avoided having to have all of the victims come forward and relive the horrific, situation that occurred to them. So, but again, that came with a negotiation of him not being held accountable for what he actually did.
Batillo's lawyer made a statement for him.
He accepts responsibility for the things he's done. He does apologize to the victims and their families sincerely. I know that that's not enough. He knows that's not enough.
Batillo said he had nothing to add, but the judge did.
Well, the victims ask why. And the why is just perversion when it's all said and done. It's disgusting.
In the end, the judge did approve the plea deal of 3.5 years with 61 days credit for time served. He will also have to be on lifetime probation and register as a sex offender. In Phoenix, William Pitts, 12 News.